Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday morning and I'm having a very early cup of tea outside. It's a bit misty and grey, but it still is warm enough to sit out and have a cup of tea. So I'm really happy about that. So here I am with my cup of tea. It's about 7 a.m. and I've got up at my usual 5:30, but after getting dressed and everything at this time of year, it's so nice to just come and sit out for 10 minutes and greet the day outside. I really love to do that. And like I said, although it is a bit misty and a little bit chilly, it still is warm enough to just have a cup of tea out here. It's lovely to just sit and listen to all the bird song. It really feels like spring is here and it's so lovely to be able to sit outside again. I thought I'd show you what's blooming. As you can see, there is still some daffodils out, especially along this north-facing wall, which is always colder. So the daffodils come a bit later and they bloom later along here. There's also a few little wild hyacinths coming out. I don't know if you can see them just there. I'll come a little bit closer. We normally get quite a few of these, so I'm hoping more will come out and then the bluebells arrive, which is such a lovely sight always. So these are looking a little bit bedraggled now. I'm hoping we'll get a few more, but there don't seem to be too many this year. I love the scent of them though. And then normally we get quite a lot of daffodils coming out over there. There's a lovely sort of bank of them, but that's west facing. So they've pretty much gone now. You can still see a few little glimmers of daffodils, but they're pretty much over now. Even though it's not sunny, I do actually love a bit of a misty morning like this, and it's lovely to see some of the leaves starting to come out on the trees. There's just a bit of film of green everywhere, so spring is definitely here. And I do like to just get a bit of fresh air first thing. I'm walking along this muddy track to say hello to the sheep. I can see they're all, well, a lot of them are lying down in the distance over there, which I don't know what that means. I know when cows lie down it means rain. It certainly looks like it could be rain, but I'm not sure if it's the same for sheep. Let's have a look at them. So the much smaller white dots are the lambs. It's so wonderful to have them back. There are a lot more now in this field, and it's just such a lovely sight of spring. They're all quite far away at the moment. Hopefully they'll move a bit more in this direction throughout the day. But they all look like they're having a nice rest, lying down at the moment. You can just see some little lambs in the distance there. But I do also have a lot of work to get on with today, so I better go in and start getting organised. Okay, so I'm upstairs in my bedroom now, about to start work at my desk. I was just helping Mum downstairs first because we have the chimney sweep coming this morning to sweep out the chimney in our kitchen. That's where we have a working fireplace, so I was just helping her to clear the mantelpiece and stuff down there, and she's nipping out to get some cash for him today as well, because we just had a long bank holiday weekend here in the UK. The Easter weekend has Friday and Monday as a bank holiday, so we couldn't get to the bank on those days, so she's going to nip out and just get the cash this morning. But I've got a lot of work to get on with today, and I also thought I'd actually just tell you about my recent reads. So on Saturday I was frantically reading this in preparation for the Comfort Book Club discussion of The Secret Garden, which went up on Sunday, and which I also had to record and edit and upload on Easter Sunday as well. And I'd been frantically reading this on the Saturday, and I finished it all on the Saturday, so that was quite a feat. But this is the biography of Frances Hodgson Burnett by Anne Thwaite, Beyond the Secret Garden, and I so recommend it. It was such a fascinating read. I hadn't known that much about her life, so it was really interesting to find out more. I'd known that she'd spent some time in the States, but I didn't realize how much she did actually live in America. Frances Hodgson Burnett's father died when she was still quite young, and her mother tried taking over his business, but it wasn't very successful. And when Frances was 15, she and her mother and sisters moved to Tennessee, where their mother had a brother who was living, but they were very poor when they were initially living in the United States. And that's when Frances first started writing, sending off stories to magazines. There's an amazing story about how she had to pick the wild grapes that were growing around their home in order to pay for the postage to send off her stories to magazines. But they were accepted pretty much from the get-go, and from that day forward, she really wrote to earn money. She supported her family. She had 2 quite unhappy marriages in her life, and she very much wrote to support her husbands as well as her 2 sons. In many ways, she had quite a tragic life. She had these unhappy marriages, like I said. Her eldest son died of consumption when he was still just a teenager, which was a huge tragedy in her life. But it was so interesting to read more and realize how much Little Lord Fauntleroy completely changed her life. I mean, that book was her most famous book during her lifetime, which is funny to think of now that she's so much more known for The Secret Garden. But that book just struck a chord with society at that point in time, and it made her famous. It made her a household name. But it was a bit of a curse as well as a blessing, especially for her younger son, Vivian, who was in some ways the inspiration behind the character of the book. And she would dress him in those velvet outfits and sort of frilly collars and things, and he sort of had to suffer throughout his life as being known as Little Lord Fauntleroy. But it certainly made his mother a lot of money, but it also in some ways changed her reputation as a writer. Before that, she wrote adult novels and short stories, and her work was compared to people like George Eliot and Elizabeth Gaskell. And the biography made an interesting point that if she'd stopped writing and never published anything else just before publishing Little Lord Fauntleroy, she probably would have had a reputation similar to that of Elizabeth Gaskell, just based on the adult novels that she'd written up until then. And I found that fascinating. I have read some of her adult novels. A couple have been published by Persephone Books, and I've read both of those. I'll link them in the description box as long as everything else. The Shuttle is such a memorable book. That's one of the ones published by Persephone, and in some ways it's a bit of a portrait of her second husband, which shows what an unhappy marriage that was. But I think she was a very brave woman in many ways, and it's incredible what she managed to do with her one pen, supporting herself, supporting her family. And yes, it was really, really interesting to read how influential she was as well. So I really recommend the biography, and I'm so glad that I managed to read it in time for the Comfort Book Club discussion of The Secret Garden, because I wanted to add a little bit more context to the novel for that discussion. So that was great, and I really enjoyed reading it myself. And then just last night, I finished a reread of an episode of Sparrows by Aruma Godden. I love this book. If you've never read it, I so recommend reading it. And actually, it was so interesting to read it right after having read The Secret Garden again, because I think Rumer Godwin definitely had to be inspired by The Secret Garden in writing this book. Nowadays, this is generally listed as a children's book, but actually it was originally published for adults, and it's a very sophisticated novel, beautifully written. I think in many ways it's actually more suited to adults, but as this is something I've said often, and that's that I think it's such a shame nowadays that there's always this distinction between children's books and adult books, when I think often there's no real distinction. A child could read and enjoy this, but adults would get so much from this novel as well. And I think it's a real shame that some books just won't be read by adults nowadays, because they're considered children's books, and that didn't used to be the case. There didn't used to always be such a distinction between the two. So I really recommend reading this. Like I said, it's a really beautifully constructed, very sophisticated novel. It's about a young girl called Lovejoy who's living on one of the poorest streets of London that is adjacent to a much wealthier area of London, where there's a very nice park in the middle of a square that the residents of this square get to enjoy the gardens. In contrast, Lovejoy has hardly ever seen many flowers at all growing up. She's never really seen her neighbours having a garden. They grow a few flowers in pots, but in general, it's impossible to have a garden in this poor and dirty area of London. But one day she steals a packet of cornflower seeds from a small boy, and she becomes obsessed with the idea of making and growing a garden herself. And she manages to find a little secret area to make her own secret garden in this road in London. And the way that she accomplishes this and meets people who help her with this goal, it's just such a touching read, and I really can't recommend it enough. Mum and I are going to be chatting about this book, as well as Family Roundabout by Richmal Crompton, in a podcast episode for Seasons of Stories. So I'm looking forward to talking about it more with her. And then I'm only a few pages away from finishing Anne of Windy Willows, really only a few pages, because they actually put a whole chapter of the next book at the end. So I've not got much left at all to finish this. Been really enjoying it. I'm very intrigued to read Anne's House of Dreams, which I only remember vaguely, and I've been eager to reread that one. So as I've been rereading all of the Anne books in preparation for the Comfort Book Club discussion of Anne of Green Gables at the end of this month, which I'm excited about. And it's been great to read the series again, and there's a few things I've remembered, but a lot I've forgotten, and I am especially intrigued to reread Anne's House of Dreams, which is the next one after Anne of Windy Willows. So I'll be moving on to that very, very soon. I've got other books to plan. I've got other books I've got to read. I thought I'd chat with you a bit later about what books I want to move on to next, because I've just finished a bunch of books. I'm about to finish that one, so I need to start my kind of next round of reading now, and I thought I'd chat with you about that later. But I need to get on with the work that I need to do this morning. I have posts to create for this week for my Bookish Almanac group on Instagram. So I need to do that this morning. I need to decide which book I'm going to do for the giveaway on that account. I've got a couple options and I'm not sure which one I'll do yet. So I have to decide that. I have to create the posts for the week. I have an interview that I recorded with Eva Rice, the author of The Lost Art of Keeping Secrets. I recorded the interview last week. I need to edit that. So I need to do that. I might start it today. If I don't get to it today, I'll do it tomorrow. And I also need to start preparing the podcast episode I'm going to record with Mum, writing a few notes for it, and getting that ready to record. So plenty to do as usual, and I'm going to just make another cup of tea. I think this one has got cold and then start on the work for this morning. So I finished the work on my laptop, at least for now. The chimney sweeper's just left, and I am setting up to do some photography in my bedroom. So I've got a few scenes to create. I'll be using these setups for reels and photographs for my work and for my blog and things like that. So here's the first one. I'm going to start snapping away. So it's brightened up a lot, it's lovely out, and Mum and I are taking advantage to get a bit of fresh air by having lunch outside.
Yes, why not?
So we've got some leftovers which we'll enjoy. It's about 1:45 now. I've been working solidly all morning, and you've been dealing with the chimney sweep.
We have, it's just gone. Yes.
So going to settle down and enjoy our lunch. Okay, so it's just after 3 o'clock now, and I'm taking a mid-afternoon break. I'm going to make a cup of tea in a minute. I've had a good day's work so far, really a lot of filming and photography and getting organised for some of my social media stuff today, which is good as I feel like prepped for the days ahead now. Haven't yet done any podcast related work, but I think I'll probably save that for tomorrow morning, at least to record the one with Mum, just for when my brain is a little bit fresher. I might start editing some of my Eva Rice interview today and then do the rest tomorrow. But I wanted to also just have a chat about the 2 books that I'm aiming to read this week. So this one is Rural Hours. I've spoken about this on my YouTube channel before. It's by Harriet Baker. It's a new group biography about Virginia Woolf, Sylvia Townsend Warner and Rosamond Lehman, all female writers that I very much admire. And this is a book about how moving to the countryside at a certain point in each of their lives helped reinvigorate their creativity and was influential on their work. So I'm really looking forward to reading this. It's such a fascinating subject, and I can't wait to dive into this week. And then the other book I'd like to read this week is My Salinger Year by Joanna Rakoff. This sounds like such a good memoir. I'm really, really excited about it. It would be great to try to watch the film as well. I've heard good things about the film and I haven't seen it. I haven't read the book before either. And yes, I think both would be good, but I definitely want to read the book first. So I'm really looking into diving into this literary memoir, and I'll let you know how I get on with these. Hello again everyone, so it's now Thursday morning. I was so busy yesterday filming an extra video that I didn't have any time to also try to film a vlog at the same time. Do check out the extra video if you'd like. It went up on Wednesday and it was about my collection of Secret Garden editions. So I hope you enjoy it if you've watched it. And I'm thinking of maybe doing a few more like these with some of the other books that I collect different editions of. So we'll see. But this morning it's been busy but good so far already. I normally exercise in the evening, but today I've exercised this morning because I'm talking to a friend on Zoom later this evening. So I've done that already, done a bit of work already, and then we're going to head into Ripon, because I want to have a look in the market. It's Ripon Market on Thursday mornings. So we're going to head in to do a little bit of shopping. I got the recipe for Seasons of Story from Jane McMorland Hunter, who contributes some recipes. I got her recipe for April, and I want to pick up a few ingredients and bits and bobs because I make the recipes and photograph them before they can go up on Seasons of Story. So that's on my mind to do today. And I still have to edit Eva Rice's interview, so I'll try and do that this afternoon. But yes, I'm looking forward to this morning. I wanted to just catch you up on my reading as well, because even though yesterday was crazy, I did manage to finish Anne of Windy Willows, which I enjoyed. I mean, they definitely are very episodic. Anne of Windy Willows is, I think, one of the worst in that respect, in terms of it really is this series of vignettes, and there are so many different characters in the book. But I still find them really quite charming. I think some people don't like the later Anne books because of this reason, but I still actually really enjoy them. So I really did like Anne of Windy Willows, and I've already started Anne's House of Dreams. So I'm to chapter 5 in Anne's House of Dreams, and I'm really liking that. It was so fun to read the wedding scene again. It was actually a lot less long than I'd remembered. It had more of an impact, I guess, the first time I read it, but it was still really charming. They have a September wedding and marry in the orchard at Green Gables, and it is lovely. And then I've started my Salinger Year by Joanna Rakoff. I've got a fairish way through this already, as I only just started this yesterday evening. So I'll be reading a lot more of that probably this evening. And then I have also started Rural Hours by Harriet Baker. And I have read the introduction, and I'm just on the first section, which is about Virginia Woolf. So I think I'll probably save this to read more over the weekend when I have more time during the day to read, because although it's really readable, it does take more concentrated reading. And I mean, I get up really early, so by the evenings I'm pretty tired. So this is a bit harder for me to read in the evenings. I'm finding this a lot easier. And then Anne's House of Dreams, I kind of read a little bit right before going to sleep. So that's sort of how I'm going to be reading these. This is really my evening read. Anne's House of Dreams is my bedtime read. This will be my weekend read. And I just have more time to read in the day, and I'm much more alert, hopefully anyway. So that's the idea. Anyway, let's get off to Ripon now and hope that there are some nice things in the market. So just got back from the market, and our bucket of blooms was waiting for us on the doorstep. So thrilled with these. I always love getting flowers from a local flower farmist, Susie. She's really lovely and always has the most beautiful flowers. But obviously over the winter there wasn't anything, so I'm still so excited to be getting some blooms again from her. There's some beautiful daffodils in here. Our first tulips from her, which I'm very excited about, and some ranunculus as well. I love the colours. It's all very pretty, kind of peachy, pastel-y colours. So that's exciting. I'll have to sort those out into bouquets and vases later. But I thought I'd just show you what we got at the market. We needed cider for Jane's recipe, which is a sausage roll recipe. So we picked up some Yorkshire Gold cider for it, and then Susie also dropped off some eggs for us because she always gives us eggs. And we got some Yorkshire rhubarb, which I'm excited about. Not too much, but I think this will just be really nice, like roasted maybe on our porridge, things like that. It's just nice to have a bit of seasonal spring produce. We also got some gorgeous purple sprouting broccoli. So pretty, just amazing colour. And more prosaically, a cauliflower. But also some lovely English asparagus, which I'm very excited about. I love asparagus and it's such a spring treat. We've got a fennel for the sausage rolls and apples as well in here. Oh, and some more eggs. We always use a lot of eggs, so got some of those. And I love this little basket for market shopping. It's so handy. Anyway, so it's just about lunchtime now. I'm going to get some lunch, deal with the flowers as well. I put this stuff away and then, yeah, have lunch and get going in some work this afternoon. Here are the 3 bouquets I've made from our bucket of blooms. I'm so pleased with them. I'm going to put them around the house, mainly in the living room. Such beautiful colours. I love the peaches and the yellows. It looks so spring-like. So that was lovely. I've actually put all of the bouquets in the living room. You can see them all here. Makes it look so lovely and spring-like. It's really special to have fresh flowers in the house. Hi everyone, so it's now the end of the week. It's late afternoon on a Friday and I'm looking forward to winding down this evening and the start of the weekend. But I just wanted to hop on and have a little chat and just finish off this vlog. It got really busy yesterday. I did manage to edit and get up my interview with the novelist Eva Rice, and I was so pleased to get it on my blog. I'll link to it in the description box so you can have a listen if you'd like. I know a lot of you read The Lost Art of Keeping Secrets along with us in February. And I chatted to Eva about that book as well as her newest book, and she was just really lovely to talk to. I love what she had to say about comfort reading as well, and actually how it takes a lot of skill to write a comfort book. So yeah, I think you'll really enjoy the conversation as well. I hope so anyway. So do check that out over the weekend if you'd like a bit of easy listening. And I'm excited because my mum had ordered a few things from Emma Bridgewater in the sale, and I'm not entirely sure what she ordered, but it's just come, so I thought I'd open it up and have a look with you, because I know there are a lot of Emma Bridgewater fans amongst you all as well. Oh great, she ordered some new oven mitts and a tea towel as well in this lovely blue daisy pattern, which is nice because the most summery oven gloves we have an apple design on them, so they're really a bit autumnal, and I think the others we have are actually Christmas ones, so we've been wanting a pair that just fits spring and summer better, so I'm really pleased about that because our oven mitts are on display in the kitchen all the time, so it's nice to have a bit more of a seasonally themed pair. And I've unboxed these. She got 2 mugs in the sale as well, this mimosa mug and then this really pretty spring flowers one with the daffodils, and I think they look like primroses to me on this mug, so really pretty. They actually go well together too with the yellows in both of them. So that's so nice. Might make a cup of tea that we can have outside. We're just about ready to have our seafood platter soon. That's our sort of usual Friday night treat for supper. And it's actually brightened up weather-wise quite a lot. So I think we will go outside and just enjoy taking in the evening and enjoy a bit of sunshine. But anyway, by the time this video goes up, I know it'll be Sunday, so I hope you'll have had a lovely weekend. Thank you so much for watching this video. Extra big thanks as always to those of you who pressed the super thanks button on my last video. I so appreciated your support, and I'm really glad that you enjoyed that little extra video from me. I think I'll be doing a few more like that as a kind of series in the months ahead. So I'm really glad you enjoyed it. But yes, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next Sunday. Goodbye.